Restoration community and fellow warriors, if you are watching this, you likely know the weight of PTSD, panic disorder, or agoraphobia. You know that feeling of being stuck in a body or a house that doesn't always feel safe. But today I want to talk to you about why watching and doing this restoration work is more than just a hobby. It is nervous system medicine. When you see a 118-year-old French St. Louis glass bottle covered in 100 years of neglect, you aren't just looking at dirt. To a brain with PTSD, that bottle represents how we often feel. Fragmented, forgotten, or broken by circumstances. Why this heals the brain. The power of flow. When you hyper-focus on a tiny screw or the delicate curve of French glass, your brain enters a flow state. This actually shuts off the alarm system in your brain, the amygdala, that causes panic attacks. For a few hours, the PTSD noise stops because your mind only has room for the task in front of you. Restoring control. Agoraphobia and chronic illness can make you feel like you have no power over your life. But when you take a rusty old barnacle and make it look like it just left the factory in 1908, you are taking back your agency. You are proving that beauty can be recovered from the ruins. The mirror effect. There is a deep psychological healing in vicarious restoration. As you watch the grime vanish and the crystal shine again, your subconscious is hearing a message. If this 100-year-old object can be made whole and beautiful again, then so can I. A message to those struggling. You don't have to be a traditionally talented artist to find peace. You don't need to paint a masterpiece or write a song. Sometimes, the greatest art is simply rescuing what was lost. When your world feels small because of anxiety, finding a project, something tactile, something old, something that needs you, gives your brain a mission. It turns your isolation into a sanctuary of restoration. Keep seeking the beauty under the rust. You aren't broken, you're just waiting for the right light to hit you again. For those of you who feel like your brain is a noisy room you can't escape, especially if you struggle with PTSD, agoraphobia, or panic disorder, you've likely been told to just breathe or try meditating. But let's be honest, when you're in the middle of a panic attack or hypervigilance, sitting still and focusing on your breath can actually make the anxiety worse because it forces you to focus more on your racing heart or your heavy chest. Here is why active restoration is a powerful alternative to traditional meditation and, for some, a way to manage symptoms without solely relying on medication. 1. Externalized meditation. Traditional meditation is internal, focusing on the self. Restoration is external, focusing on the object. For a brain with PTSD, the internal space can feel like a crime scene. By focusing on the 118-year-old French glass, you are practicing mindfulness in motion. You aren't clearing your mind. You are filling your mind with the texture of the glass, the smell of the polish, and the tension of the spring. This pushes the panic out of the room, because there simply isn't any bandwidth left for it. 2. The dopamine versus cortisol balance. Anxiety and PTSD flood your body with cortisol, the stress hormone. This keeps you in a state of high alert. Completing a small task, like removing a century of rust, triggers a hit of dopamine. This is a natural reward chemical. When you provide your brain with steady, small wins through restoration, you are essentially microdosing your own brain with calm and satisfaction, which counters the physical urge to panic. 3. Tactile grounding, the object as an anchor. When you are agoraphobic, your world feels unsafe. A 118-year-old bottle is tangible, heavy, and real. Touching the cold glass or the solid metal anchors you to the present moment. Unlike medication, which can sometimes make you feel numb or foggy, restoration makes you feel sharp and capable. It proves to your nervous system that you are safe in your environment right now. 4. Replacing destruction with construction. PTSD is a disorder of destruction. It feels like your life or your peace has been torn apart. By choosing to be a restorer, you are performing an act of defiance. You are telling your brain, I am not a victim of what is broken. I am the master of what is being fixed. This shift in identity from patient to artisan is one of the most powerful psychological tools for long-term healing. A note of encouragement. If breathing exercises feel like a chore and sitting still feels like a trap, get your hands dirty. Find something old, something neglected, and something ugly. As you bring that object back to life, you might just find that your brain starts to feel a little more as new as well. A message from futures past, saving history, saving ourselves. To my community, my fellow warriors, and those of you watching from the quiet of your own homes, I am here for you. I know the weight of the silence that comes with PTSD, anxiety, and illness, but I want you to know, we are not here to suffer in silence. We are all bound together by the same threads of resilience. In my workshop, we don't just see old objects, we see reflections of our own lives. When I take an antique that has been battered by time, whether it's a 118-year-old perfume bottle, a rusted piece of machinery, or a forgotten relic, and I restore it to its original glory, I am doing more than fixing something. I am saving history. And in the act of saving history, I am saving myself. For those of us who feel we have lost power over our own bodies or our own lives, restoration gives that power back. It is an act of defiance against despair. When the world feels chaotic, these objects give us a sense of accomplishment that no panic attack can take away. We are taking the broken pieces of the past and making them whole again. And in doing so, we are proving that our own broken pieces are worth keeping, worth cleaning, and worth loving. We are all one in this journey. Let's bring history back together, and let's fix ourselves along the way. Join me at Futures Past on TikTok and YouTube. Let's rescue the past and find our peace together.